There is a major cope that goes around when it comes to attractiveness, which I like to call the something must be wrong cope. The premise of this cope is that people who have a lot going for them must have something bad as a result. An example would be people born into wealth, and people will cope by saying their lives are actually not good because they are spoilt or bad people for being wealthy, or that their lives are actually better because they appreciate the value of money and so on, without realizing that your life is just objectively better if you have money, and that none of the downsides are inherently the result of the money. This cope is entirely rooted in jealousy, and thus people look for any way to make themselves feel superior to the target of their envy. This is no different for attractiveness. Many people will cope by believing attractive people must have something wrong with them to make themselves feel better about not being attractive. The main way this happens is either people will suggest attractive people are dumb or that they have no personality. This is just a cope. In fact, attractive people generally are more intelligent and have better personalities due to positive reinforcement throughout their lives. People will use this cope all the time, even when it comes to their own attractiveness. For example, they will cope that they are happy, they aren't attractive, because it means they have to develop a personality, without realizing that attractiveness is your personality. Or they will say that they are happy, they aren't attractive, as this means people love them for who they are. When actually that's the complete opposite. True love is purely attractiveness. Nobody can love you at first sight based on personality. Any other form of love would thus require compensatory things such as money or a developed aka fake personality. This cope is ubiquitous amongst the masses. Literally any field in which some people have a lucky advantage, people cope. One of the most common ones would be height. The amount of times I've heard short people cope, saying they are glad they are short because they can buy kids' shoes for cheap, or they don't bump their heads, etc., is ridiculous. It's blatantly cope. Nobody actually believes you. It's the equivalent of a homeless person saying they wouldn't want to be a millionaire because they don't have to pay taxes. Guys don't cope like this. It's literally a way of gaslighting yourself into not wanting better for yourself. The best example of this cope for money would be lottery winners who lost all their money and then cope saying they are happy that they lost it. Yet when they had the money, they didn't for a single second think about not wanting it and overindulged in luxury until they had nothing. Just watch one of these stories and you will see just how much they are coping and wish they still had the money. On the other hand, a huge one in attractiveness, specifically amongst men, is the strength cope. I might make a video on this, but it's insane how many people will assume just because someone is attractive, they can't fight. Sorry to tell you, but 6F6 Chad would absolutely beat the incel out of you. You would go from black to blue-pilled after he is done with you. Seriously, don't cope like this. Men with better skull development are literally better equipped to fight, as they are better able to withstand blows to the head. Coping that someone must have something wrong with them because their life is objectively better than yours is just sad. Instead of coping that Chads must have a bad personality, look smacks and improve your own life.